Hello and welcome to Funny Original Joke About Onions. We're continuing with the book today. So how's everybody feeling before we begin? Let's have a look in the chat. In a couple of moments, I've already spoken to the guys. They're going to be joining us in a couple of minutes.
Indeed.
But until then, how is everyone doing this evening and how did you guys enjoy the latest episode?
Queen Elizabeth says Philip couldn't join us, I'm afraid.
Of all the things you... of all the things to read aloud, Gemma. Right,
yeah.
It's not going to continue from the Twitch one because as far as the Twitch one goes, we mostly spent it making jokes about a certain YouTuber, not to name any names, but a certain crybaby that we made fun of a lot, like I've made fun of several times, a certain talented individual, shall we say, grown man with baby teeth. I mean, not to name names. So it very quickly devolved into that. We got bored of the story and started roasting everyone's Twitter. Can you send us your Twitter and we'll roast you? And then the stream devolved into that. So we're going to start the chapter again for those of you who missed it on Twitch. Thank you, Bioman, for the $3.99. He says, "Loved them, guys." So, I'm glad you enjoyed. I just burped. Hey, my super chat thing's working. It's making a little noise and showing the GIF. So let's get the squad. Let's get the squidod. Toby it seems Toby's briefly busy. He's just had something come up, but he'll be joining us in a little while. Well, as you can probably hear, Matt is here.
Yes.
Hello.
He's loud and he's like, for Matt, I'm gonna fucking slap the shit out of you. I'm dangerous.
Yeah. I'm also
like
not short.
I'm still. Next time I see you, I'm still trying to figure. I'm gonna find out because.
What do you mean find out? You know I'm taller than you, woman.
No.
Yeah.
We
Yes.
we don't know this.
What do you mean? I've stand.
I'm not getting involved. So.
We stand next to each other. We don't see eye to eye. I see above you, woman. Anyway. Just doing it to piss me off now.
Toby's busy, doing anything else, basically.
Yeah. It was like, oh, I've got to see a man about a kettle, and they jumped out the window.
Yeah.
They actually flipped out because it's all that carny training. Remember when Toby was a carny?
We were all carnies.
I've never been a carny.
Well, me and Cobe were.
Cobe was the bearded lady.
Yeah, Gemma, sometimes I like to maintain an air of mystery about my life, but no, you just blurted out that we were all carnies once.
Hey, you said you were a ride operator once.
That's gonna become a thing now.
We were all ride operators.
Yeah, but you said carnies.
Yeah, it was.
I know the upcoming artwork is entirely on you. It's all your fault.
Jacob was the bearded lady, but it was bearded. It was casual. So it was like, "Hi, I'm a lady." And it's like, "You don't look like a lady. You're just wearing jeans." Yeah, I don't need to wear a skirt. What year are you from?
Yeah,
so it wasn't very popular.
They said 1916. Like this is a freak show.
Like, Pimp Demon, thanks for the 50 kroner. Welcome back to Jacob kidnapped Toby to do his taxes and has him in the basement.
I mean, he's not wrong. The only thing more evil than tying up Toby is paying taxes. Because taxes, more like stealing, am I right? Alright, sorry guys, just prepare yourselves. Riker! He says, Movie Bob versus H Bomber Guy, battle for soy. I don't think it would come to that because Wings of Redemption would roll in trying to push a tire between them.
I don't even know who that is.
I mean, nor do you need to for the joke to work. It's just sad fat losers.
Alright, so
Dixon arrives on the scene.
What, to kill them all?
Short as the day is long.
So I'll punch you in the dick next time I see you. You know, I'm gonna get Raymond to punch you in the dick. You'll never see it coming.
Yeah, the only reason you're gonna punch me in the dick, mate, is because you can't reach my face. Fucking walked right into that one, didn't you? You short fuck.
Just like you're gonna walk into my fucking knee next time I see you. I'm gonna open up the door and bam.
Stream because I'm sober again. Pouring out for my boyfriend.
Oh, you poor bastard.
Rotten Thoughts, thank you very much for the $5. Cobe, how do you know I just got back from the liquor shop? Nothing beats pissing on a pedo's book to get my mind off of work. Well, there you are. Returned from work, couple of tasty cold ones with the lads. With the lads, eh? Couple of jokers we are, eh? Couple of lads. Couple of likely lads, that's what they called us. Oh, I've been lit on fire. That's how we're fortunate. But yeah, come and join us for roasting the literature of a nonce. By the way, Godzilla vs. King Kong sucks!
It does suck.
So, Chapter 10, Failure to Perform.
Yeah, so some people, the very few people who are on the Twitch stream might be confused why we're doing. Well, they wouldn't be confused. So we tried a Twitch stream back when we were having the troubles with someone who we're not going to name because but we sort of got distracted from the fact that Twitch was a different, like we weren't used to Twitch sort of thing. We were making fun of Toby, which is normal, so I really shouldn't. And then we just kept insulting someone. We're not going to say who we kept insulting them. We sort of got distracted, but we did read a bit of this, so we know what's coming up.
It's been a month now since I went through basic. The last entry was made during the first week of security forces training. I feel like a train bound to metal tracks with only one destination. Becoming a cop for the Air Force. I love the way he words things, and by love I mean hate with every fibre of my being. My roommate, Airman Taylor, is obsessed with country music, despite being from Minnesota. Yes, where country music is banned. He's a scrawny-looking brunette guy. I'm sure we talked about this on Twitch, but it's weird to call a man a brunette.
My roommate, Tim the Toolman Taylor.
Don't call a man a brunette. It's like calling a man a redhead. It's like, no, he's fucking ginger. You don't call a man a redhead, you don't call a man a brunette.
That man has brown hair.
With brown eyes and pimples on his face. To save you from looking at a map, Minnesota is right by North Dakota and shares a border with Canada. Thank you for the geography lesson.
Yes, Sinis, we did read this chapter already, but we were basically, but I think it was like, because we did it on Twitch and didn't actually read that much of it.
North Dakota. Alright. I just assumed most people who were into country music came from the South, considering the desert cowboy cliche. I think it's pretty hard to be a cowboy and build a snowman at the same time. That's not up to you, Greg. You don't get to decide how a cowboy spends his time.
A cowboy wants to make a snowman.
If he wants,
bloody well right.
If he wants to make a snowman, or shriek melodically, or if he wants to just eat pudding, that is his decision. Thank you very much, Linda. Let me see the kids, please, for the $6.99. I'm pretty sure tax evasion is the lowest rung on Maslow's hierarchy of needs, right next to unregistered machine guns. Oh, so based.
So Sinis was like, no, I mean, you guys read this in episode 6.
Did we? I'm just going.
Are we like Toby suggested it, and we didn't bother to double check. So
yeah, basically,
are
we don't sit around watching our own videos. So I went to the guys. I was like, "Where did we get to last time?" And
Toby was like chapter 10.
I think he just said the name of the chapter he could remember. Failure to Perform.
Yeah, blame Toby.
Okay, so jump
to chapter 11?
12?
Yeah, because I remember.
Are we on chapter 12 or is it 11? I can't remember.
Chapter 11. In Hell with an Angel. Let's try this one. While the dorms are a miserable place, I've met a pretty amazing girl named Corey Jeffries.
No, I think
we definitely read that.
Sure, we've read this one as well because
we read that
because you're simping about because the next chapter is the one where basically the drill sergeant calls him names and he cries about it.
Yes, I remember that because I had to do some reading for that one.
Because he's like, procedure. Oh yeah, it is chapter 12, Jacob.
Designed to fail. I can see why Toby got confused, to be fair, because the chapter names are very similar. Failure to Perform and Designed to Fail.
They're also shit.
I've had a lot of problems with training since my last entry. A staff sergeant I absolutely despise humiliated me in front of the entire flight through a sequence of events. I was so sick of this trainer, Sergeant Cassava, prancing around like she owned the place, when she was obviously barely 23, yet still too old for me, and got ahead in the Air Force on book smarts alone. On an uncomfortably hot day during one of her many emasculating rants, she said,
"You're a bunch of pansies! You should be ashamed of yourselves!
She was getting IHOP at the time.
The way you've been performing is pathetic! You think you people deserve respect? You're so strong? You're nothing!"
This was after we had all busted our butts the entire morning to perform to their expectations on yet another ridiculous training course. The amount of anger I felt for a baby-faced daddy's girl like Sergeant Cassava,
Oh god.
insulting everyone in the... Like she's going to be...
She had a baby face. Then I felt really uncomfortable. My trousers were a baby face, but her disgusting, like, adult tits were really turning me off.
She's now called Sergeant Cerveza, I've decided. Insulting everyone in the flight in such a disrespectful way overrode every social precaution I had. I stood in the middle of our formation. Every word she spoke added to my rage, till I finally screamed, "Sergeant Cerveza, you just violated the UCMJ."
Wait, hold on a second, because I just want to, like... Because a bit earlier he said, like, she just called them pansies, which... I've never, like I've said before, I've never been part of a military, but I've seen that clip from Full Metal Jacket where the guy rinses the shit out of those people. So if you got upset being called a pansies, you really are a fucking pansy. But he also said busting the butt. Has he sworn once? And is this book rated like for like it's T? Like, is he not swearing in this book? Because I can't remember.
I think he has. I think he's sworn in the book before.
I just kind of like the idea that he's like, I want the kids to read this book.
Oh yeah, it's like I want the kids to read this book and then relate to it and then want to have sex with me.
I'll lure them in. He's got he's got his best-selling books leading down to his basement.
As I say, the first red flag was like, order your advanced copy now, comes with candy. I think was my first red flag about this book.
It's my special Amazon delivery. You just need to get it out of my van, the big white one.
Just like the child catcher from Chitty Chitty Bang Bang.
Someone please do that.
There's lollipops and candy inside. They're all in there.
Oh gee willikers.
There's all kinds of sweet things and kombucha inside.
It's like kombucha drinks like pee and smells even worse. Come, kids.
Where the fuck am I? Alright, the silence that loomed after my objection was deafening. After seconds of no one knowing how to react, like the woman child she was, she screeched back.
Who was that? Who said that? Who the hell said
I like
that?
I like he's like, oh, like the woman child, like the drill sergeant who's yelling at like the fucking trainee who just mouthed off. I think like she's doing her job.
I really should have made her an old lady and was like, who was that? Who said that?
She's deaf.
Who's that, dearie? Like, instead of Cassandra or whatever her name is, it's old Mrs. Miggins from the pie shop.
Is that you, Gregory? Come closer. Closer. Too close. Step back like half a foot. There you are. Let me look at you. I know why she's like an old upper-class English woman.
She's got like she's sitting like in a giant armchair covered in cats and blankets. Why is this old lady teaching us how to be part of the Air Force?
Thank you, Pimp Demon. This story sucks. I rather read Halo. I don't quite know what you mean. Do you mean the books, the Halo books based on Halo?
There's Halo books?
I think I've heard some of the Halo books are terrible, so...
that's probably what he's getting at then. Right. I screamed again. Airman Lindfeld! She screamed once more.
Step out of formation now, dearie.
I promptly complied. She approached me and said...
What did you just say to me?
She went on to explain that she graduated at the top of her class in the Navy SEALs. I've lost where we are. Stupid's giggling at that stupid copy pasta joke. Standing at the position of parade rest, I replied, "The UCMG specifically states you are not allowed to use language that emasculates airman." See, like the merman thing? He didn't say airman, he says airman, because, you know, proofreading's for people who don't nonce. That's right, authors, anyone who we've made fun of on this show, or anyone who runs the risk of being on this show, the only people who don't proofread are nonces.
So
If
get
you
on
want me
that.
to think that you don't fuck children, proofread your stories. This is the only nonce literature I've read, so statistically, 100% of nonces don't proofread.
Oh, by the way, do you know what makes complete and utter sense? Me making
What you just said?
Like making the voice of the woman like old, because that's how he would see her, because she's 23.
I'm surprised he hasn't tried kicking her yet. Is she if she was overweight, would he like be even worse?
We'll finish the page. I think there's sort of a block of super chats there, so we'll finish the
Oh wow.
Right. So yeah, it's like you're not allowed to emasculate airman because I can't proofread. You called us pansies and have
Like,
used other emasculating terms.
I like the idea more. I like the idea that he's not upset that he called them about, like, he says airman. It's like, you can't make fun of my favorite superhero, airman. Next thing he's gonna tell her, like, Lady Hawk sucks, and she's gonna punch her in the face. Fucking get that.
It's so specific.
He's now played by Bill Bailey in the movie adaptation.
You call us pansies and have used other emasculating terms repeatedly throughout training. You know, again, I know you brought up Full Metal Jacket, which is thinking of the drill sergeant that's like, you're the sort of guy who would fuck a man in the ass and not even have the goddamn common courtesy to give him a reach around.
No, sir. It would have to be a young girl.
How tall are you, sir? 5'9", sir. I didn't know they stacked shit that high. All the stuff that they come out with in that movie. And again, it's a real drill sergeant. It was like, that's the kind of shit he used to say to Marines. But apparently, what is this, the Air Force? You can't do any of that.
Pansies. Ah.
Yeah, it's not even the proper Air Force. This is like the police of the Air Force or whatever it is. So
Garbage.
it's like the Air Force MPs.
So the Air Force police. So they're like the Air Force, except they just murder black people with impunity. Why is it so quiet here?
These guys do it from... No, but these guys do it from jets.
Yeah, basically. Do you... It's in the chat, as everyone's just like talking about Full Metal Jacket. Do you suck dicks? Oh, sir. Alright, where the fuck are we? Oh, yeah. Sergeant Kashasa had a fresh look of confusion and fear. We all lived by the Ukmij, the Uniform Code of Military Justice. It served as a system of rules we all had to abide by, in addition to the civilian laws we were already subject to. Sergeant Kashasa remained silent in front of me. She was obviously not as well versed on the section of the UCMG I was referring. This fact was hilarious because it was her literal job to be educated on it. It was also her... He actually writes, like... If you ever seen his videos where he quote-unquote debunks people, this is actually how he talks in his videos. He's like... The fact is actually hilarious because it's your literal job to be educated on it. He's like a worse Ben Shapiro.
Yes.
If you've ever seen his... debunking videos. Like, these potatoes are the product of my labor, and the idea.
And instead, it's like, my husband has been missing for months.
Fucking hell! It's like my wife. It's like my wife's a doctor. I mean, my wife saw a doctor after I filmed her having disassociating and having a seizure. Sergeant Cerveza, blah blah blah. Okay. It was also her job to educate others on the Ukmij, but there she was, completely dumbfounded. Alright, that's the end of the page. Let's read some super chats.
So yeah, we start at the top with Naki Hollis.
Yes, extremely generous, thank you.
Yes, thank you.
Hey guys, glad to see you back on live stream. Quick, if I send you all a story I wrote, not a creepypasta, would you all write? I assume would we read it? Even if not, have a great day to you and yours. Absolutely, you can send it to us. If you're in the Discord, that's probably the best place to send it, because it can get pinned and we can have a look at it at some point before shutting this thing off tonight. Thank you for the donation. But yes, by all means send it and we'll take a look. Looks like PowerPointropolis simply says money. Thank you for money. Peter Milic or Milik. Don't try to pronounce my name unless you speak Serbian. Kobe, remember what I told you could help you get through this. Imagine this creep in hell. Yes, I will. I'd rather actually imagine him in jail. That's much more appealing to me. Pimp Demon, thank you very much. Yes, there's also no way they're as bad as this is. I'm trying to figure out the context of that by scrolling through the chat here. I can't, I'm afraid.
You might have been basically answering something we were talking about, so...
Moth is dead. Thank you very much. Finally caught your stream. Oh dear God, what have I walked into? So yeah, it's exactly what it looks like. We're reading literature written by a known paedophile.
And also, this is the best place to start. The second book. Well, I mean, it's not a continuing story, but
halfway
the second
through
book would
two, yeah. Queen Elizabeth, thank you very much for the 49. Onision can't beat Airman. Just the Airman thing is fantastic. What a moron.
Wait, can we try and make Airman the new Rocket Fist Rick?
Yes, of course we can. John looks like Twinkleberry.
Yes.
Thank you very much for the $10. To be fair, JC the Hyena also doesn't proofread, so you've got more than one source. I mean, yeah, JC the Hyena allegedly is also known for a little bit of noncing now and then, and he doesn't proofread. So yes, the evidence is piling up that everyone who doesn't proofread is a sex offender. Origin of Laughing Jack had spelling mistakes and grammatical errors, right? As well as obviously all the historical errors. So I mean, I'm just saying.
Well, that's now 200%.
I mean, I'm not saying causation, but I am saying correlation. Oscar Rock, thank you very much. I'm just adding to the super chat train. So how about those local politics? I'll tell you these stories. This is the future that liberals want. By a man 12, thank you very much. More money because y'all are great. Well, thank you. It's very kind. You're so generous to give us money. I'll even overlook your use of the word y'all. Halo Books, Jacob. Halo Books also take my money, says Pimp Demon. Yeah, I thought you were talking about Halo Books. And Fluby, thank you for the $5. Keep it up. And there's what looks like a pair working out.
You've also got Mike K27. Thanks for the $5. All the cool kids are donating. Have some shekels.
Thank you very much, Mike. Oh, you got Linda. Let me see the kids, please. Is Airman Rocket Fist Rick's sidekick? Rocket Fist Rick.
No, it's like
Rocket Fist Rick needs no sidekick.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like a parallel. It's like Marvel and DC. Like you got Rocket Fist Rick in one universe and Airman in the other, and they're gonna have a crossover movie at some point.
Yeah, think of Rocket Fist Rick as like Superman, I guess, and Airman is like, I don't know, Thor. Whoever in Marvel is as good as Superman. Basically, no one. But
thank you.
No one worth talking about.
Super chats. This says whoops. Super chats.
Whoop! There it is.
Thank you.
Oh no! I keep accidentally. He's got like a donate button on his keyboard. I didn't mean to give them money. Whoops. Why is it next to the E button?
Why is it right next to the unsubscribe button?
It's these new OnlyFans account special keyboards where every other letter's been replaced with a donate button.
I thought having an OnlyFans, to me, I think it's not specific enough because you've got way too much competition from all the other e-girls. So I thought if I was going to start one, it would be on my own unique platform called CoblyFans, and I'd be the only person who was allowed to make content on there.
No, Jacob, that's a stupid way to. No, Jacob, that's stupid. What you do is you let other people make content, but all the money gets funneled to you. 100% of the profit of their work goes to you.
Oh, so basically I'm like a pimp.
Yeah.
Or like the Fine Brothers. She's thinking like, yes, they do. And when was the last time you heard someone talk about the Fine Brothers?
Sam, thanks for the $5.
Literally in a parody video someone made about them.
I'm just like, I'm going to say word.
And Yeah, Naki Hollis, thanks for the $4.99. Thanks for letting me know. We're still working on it between my job. Once it's in a real readable state, I'll send it to the Discord. Thank you.
Yeah, absolutely, mate. We're always happy. It sometimes takes us fucking ages to get to things like that, but they go on like a list and they get done eventually.
Yes.
Pardon me, I just belched. That's super gross. I feel like Darkside Phil, like belching into the microphone. The sergeant told me to return to formation. She then screeched in her normal tone.
I'm not screeching. Does anyone else feel
there we go.
violated? Feel I violated the USMJ, the UCMJ, the UCMJ?
Yeah, it's easy to say Uckmage, right?
Yes.
Acronyms are a pain in the arse. Just read them as they are.
Yeah, because Uckmage sounds like your fucking buddy who drives a taxi around New York. It's Uckmage.
I'm going to call the FB. You know, it's much easier. Every airman remained silent. She screeched even louder.
I'm not screeching even louder. I said, does anyone else feel I violated the UCMJ?
And everyone was shouting loudly. She just couldn't hear them.
Yes.
Is she deaf?
Speak up, dearies! She's got like a hearing like horn. She's holding up to her.
Yeah, he's like, oh, you just violated the UCMJ. She's like, what? If I had a rock, I'd bust your head, bitch. Is she deaf? Bernie Mac. There is no way Michael Bay and those clowns wrote that incredibly funny line for you. We all know you improvised it. You son of a bitch. In that moment, I was reminded how outnumbered I was. I was up against the mindless machine of the military. I was defending these morons. And here they were. If that ain't me. Not saying no, of course I've never served in the military, but I mean in most situations I found myself in like these fucking idiots.
I like the idea that it's like, oh, I was the champion for these people, they backstab me. Well, everyone else is probably just like, what's this bitch's problem? Being called a like Jacob, at any point in your life, like you, me, and Toby, we've all called each other and been called horrible things. If someone called you a pansy, you would probably laugh in their fucking face.
It's just such an uninventive insult, isn't it?
Yes.
It's I don't know, I've always got this hierarchy of like insults and swears in my head, and pansy's like on there like something you can say on a children's program. Like you watch it like kids like, oh, something I'd see when I was like 6, it goes, oh, you pansy.
Yeah, I'd say it's less harsh than calling someone like a dookie head or something.
Yeah, so a nincompoop or something like that. It's like,
alright, and there they were, standing there silently with their tails between their legs. At this point, you could throw a hand grenade in the middle of the formation, and so long as Corey wasn't in it, I wouldn't feel a thing. Upon Sergeant Cerveza demanding an answer, once more our flight screamed in sync. No, Sergeant. The only person who didn't belch out a desperate "No, Sergeant" was Corey, who was right next to me in the formation. I think Corey was too busy chasing cats or something. No, too scared to say anything at all. Speaking out against higher-ranking enlisted members, training instructors at that, was unheard of in the field. Yeah, do you ever think there's maybe a reason?
Yeah, you'd think that it was like yeah, maybe you shouldn't be.
Respect is kind of, I don't know, expected, even demanded of you in this situation.
Yeah, it's almost like the military.
This is worse than the cunt word.
The cunt word.
Jacob, it's almost as if the military had some sort of... Jacob, it's almost as if the military has some sort of hierarchy or discipline. Who the funk it?
No, that can't be right.
Nah, it's just a random free for all. Oh, soldiers, go out there and do what you want.
I don't know why that's so funny. I'm just giggling at this notion of just how the military in the US is basically the Wild West. And by that I mean it's a bunch of sentient cows with like sheriff's outfits on.
I was thinking sort of more like they just like have a helicopter just drop like a shipping crate and they just open the doors and just let them roam out. It's like unleashing a bunch of just like domesticated animals into a field. Go on, soldiers, you're free now. Commit war crimes.
Cool Spot says, commit war crimes. That should be the thumbnail for this video. Just Cool Spot. Just commit war crimes written across it. I miss Cool Spot. He was a pretty smooth talking You know, smooth
Spot.
operator.
He was.
Little red guy. Shot little lasers out of his hand. I don't really know what his deal was. Apparently in America his game was like a brand deal with 7-Up. It wasn't over here. So
No,
it confused me.
We got the regular cool spot.
Yeah, it was just cool spot, nothing to do with 7-Up.
Oh, yeah, what was it called in the US?
No, it was called Cool Spot, but the game had a bunch of 7-Up branding all over it.
Ah, I see.
But it didn't in this version. So the 7-Up bottle from the title sequence was just a bottle with like a SOS letter in it and stuff. So all the 7-Up branding was removed for the PAL version. But that's not important.
What?
The most
I'm
important...
actually kind of more interested in like the story. Like, can we start like a show on this and just like forget this bit? And just like, why did it? Was in the UK? Did they remove all the 7-Up stuff? Like, well, it's not like we don't have 7-Up in this country. So
perhaps the English typically don't like 7-Up, and they thought, well, 7-Up soda has performed quite poorly, and perhaps having the brand attached to the game will harm sales in European regions.
Yeah, 7-Up is Noir White's lemonade.
Yeah, it's a bastard soda, isn't it? 7-Up.
The big lemonade tycoons wouldn't allow it.
It's it's the butane of soda pop.
There they are, like on the they got the the oil refineries and stuff like that, but they're just pumping out a lemonade from the ground.
It's that massive R. White's like drill.
Yeah. There will be lemonade. There will be blood.
Just be like Daniel Day-Lewis just beating Cool Spot to death with a bowling pin. Like,
I drink your 7-Up.
I'm finished. That's a good movie.
It's a brilliant movie.
Even if you were to do like a mod, like you can mod a film, like it's a game. What am I talking about? And you just removed Eli from the film, and it was Cool Spot, and he just made those like wow noises that he makes. I think the film would still be a masterpiece. That's how good it is. You could take out a principal performance, replace it with a Spot that can't speak English. It'd still be fucking genius.
Yes, 100%.
I just also want to see. Oh, we need to get a Kickstarter to see if we can get just like the fight scene between Daniel Day-Lewis with a bowling pin versus Cool Spot who can shoot lasers and just have that like play out.
Right. We should probably do what we're here for, right?
Most likely.
Probably.
Yeah. But yeah, Cool Spot was the man. I do remember there being a different 7-Up. Someone mentioned in the chat a different 7-Up mascot, and it was true. It was a guy with it was just like a very 90s looking guy with weird hair. I think was like the UK 7-Up mascot. When I was a wee lad.
Back in the day.
Back in the 90s.
When?
Yeah, 1990s at that. A very long time ago.
Yeah. Okay, Jacob, before we get into a 90s rant, which we will never get off of, let's just read the story, because if we start talking about 90s, we will not leave that subject.
Okay. Corey was too scared. Do you guys remember those trainers that used to light up? Okay. Sergeant Casablanca didn't really punish me beyond turning my entire flight against me that day. I thought the incident would be left on the training course, but the next day I was proven wrong. Wow, I can't imagine your commanding officer being petty because you did something cuntish. What a shock. Before I could leave...
I'm going to be honest, I would have thought the response would have been, okay, so if, what's his boy here takes offence of being called a pansy, all of you except for him do like 50 laps around the airbase or something like that, just like really fucking get them pissed off at him.
Yeah, no, absolutely. It's like he's actually going to stay here and challenge General by picking flowers. Well, yeah, you do pull-ups all day.
Yeah, no, what he's going to do is they're all going to do like pull-ups, squats, things like that. Well, he has he has to decide whether he's going to drink some lemonade or 7-Up.
There is a right answer, Greg. There is a correct drink. Trust me, you're not in America anymore. Choosing the wrong soda pop, bam, that'll get you killed.
on the battlefield.
And there's a reason why we've not mentioned Sprite.
There never even was a Cool Spot. That's just a lie told to you by Big Soda.
Big Soda.
That's Airman's arch villain.
Airman.
Big Soda.
Big Soda, it was meant to sound like some kind of like deep state like corporation thing, but it just ended up sounding like a really fat guy.
It just reminds
It's just big. It's just
to get me from the shop.
okay.
Like, give me a Big Soda.
Okay, so right, so do you know what Pepsi Man looks like? It's like that, but imagine Big Chungus, but in Pepsi cut in a.
Okay,
7-Up
somebody,
colours.
right? Drop what you're doing. Whoever's decent at Photoshop, drop what you're doing. Grab a picture of Big Chungus. If you can't find him, just go on Reddit. It'll be easy enough. And just like reskin him to have the Pepsi Man color scheme. Please do this. His name will be Big Soda. And his first act as president of the United States will be to send everyone stimulus checks of 1,000 Reddit gold. So you get on with that immediately. In fact, if you can get me 2 of them before midnight, I'll get you a $20 pay rise. Now, you tell Gladys to get in here. I know I'm talking about.
Back to the story.
You don't want to be doing this at all.
Basically, I'm just having a small stroke and no one's helping me.
Can you smell toast?
I cannot actually. I could smell it. I told you about this, didn't I, on the drive to work, where I was really sore, like my chest hurt, and I could smell toast for a good chunk of it.
Yeah.
And I was just like to the driver, I was like, "Please tell me you can smell toast." And they were like, "No."
I'm like, oh, for God's sake.
I was like, "You are fucking lying to me. Someone is cooking toast."
See, the driver's just got a toast. He just likes fucking with people. He's just got a toaster in this front seat.
Not even anything like a toaster is not elaborate enough. If anything, they went to the effort of getting a customized little tree that you hang up that smells like toast.
I'd like one of those.
I wouldn't. I'd constantly think I was having a stroke.
I suppose.
It was like in physical pain. I was like, "Oh my god, I'm gonna die." It's like I'm about to die. So this is how I die, in a cab on my way to work.
Alright, so back to the story, because we haven't even reached the part where we stopped last time.
This is definitely the worst chapter so far. It's so dull. Before I go blah 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 blah, my classroom was in. Sergeant Chumbly Bumbly confronted me outside and told me to report to Sega Master System, who was waiting for me in the basement of the building.
Super Nintendo Chalmers!
I was just thinking that.
I followed her order and walked downstairs. It wasn't hard to find his office, and most of the floor wasn't well lit, and his room was brightly glowing in the middle of a dark hallway. As I walked to the Master System's secretary, greeted me saying, "Hello, how can I help you?" I told her I was Airman Lindfeld, and she pointed to an already open door with an obviously infuriated Master Sergeant seated behind his bright wooden desk just beyond it. The man had dead eyes and was already staring intensely in my direction.
Okay, so, Pimp Demon, thank you for the chrono. Pimp, that's my job. Don't you dare take my job. Beso Nova Lowbreck, thank you for the $1. And
There's not a message with it,
No.
so thank you.
but thank you. Peter, hey Gemma, have you ever been to Loch Ness? And more importantly, what do you think would happen if you threw Greg in the water? Well, yes. Well, hi Peter, and thanks for the $4.99. I have been to Loch Ness, and it is very nice there. And if I threw Greg into the water, he'd probably just drown. I think that's the best option. Bioman12, $3.99. Thank you very much. The US Army is run like a clan of Warhammer orcs.
I'm just picturing Lord of the Rings now. It's like
The Warhammer orcs are better. It's like, alright boys, we've got to get Zarakis. Wog!
just gets called a pansy, decapitates the sergeant. Looks like meat's back on the menu.
And Peter, thanks again for the $4.99. Let me know what you think about this. My aunt used to make 7-Up pancakes, and yes, that means exactly what you think it does. 7-Up in pancake batter.
I'm really glad you said my aunt used to, and that this has not continued.
I was like, thank you very much, Mike K27 for the $5. Soda, canned or fountain? Big Soda puts fluoride in the fountain drinks to suppress your memories of Cool Spot.
I like that motherfucker for $10 just says, do a backflip.
Like,
I mean, I cannot, nor have I ever claimed to have this skill.
no, what you could do is say that you did and not and tell them because you could have done one.
Wait, Jacob, you mean you're not back? I've been doing backflips non-stop since we started. Prove that I haven't.
Yeah.
So what you're saying is they wouldn't know.
Yes.
But Gemma, I'd know.
Okay.
I'd know I didn't do a backflip. And that's not okay.
Is that like an ancient Chinese proverb? Who are you in the dark and can you do a backflip?
Look, the fact is, we all have three faces, Matt. We have the face that we show to our friends. We have the face that we show to the people we want to impress. And the third face is Ben Shapiro, hamburger helper.
That's the face.
That is the truest reflection of yourself.
I
can't believe I fucked it. I couldn't do it. I said the third face, and I made the mistake of looking at Gemma. She just started giggling. I was like, I can't calmly say Ben Shapiro, hamburger helper now.
I do like the 8-second pause of silence of like where I know you're trying not to laugh.
It's just like
dramatic pause.
You know Tim Curry when he's in Command and Conquer 3, where it's like, I'm going to the one place that hasn't been corrupted by capitalism. And he has to like hyperventilate just before saying the word space. Like
space. Has that clip become like? Is that one of those like someone's like a revived meme or something? Because I've been seeing that fucking thing everywhere. Is that just like a rediscovered meme or something? Because I've just, like I said, in the past fucking week, I've been seeing like spaz like fucking like every single day.
Spaz. Thank you very much, Phantom, for the $5 Australian. Can Catherine of Aragog just eat Arthur so we can be done with him already? Or Catherine of Aragon, they probably don't think it was
a... Yeah, Catherine of Aragog, who's his trainer, because they're orcs. Because we're like...
Linda, let me see the kids. Just posted the correction. Catherine of Aragog in a super chat there. And it's like, Beso Nova Lowbreck, thanks for the $2. I have to donate for the honesty. Yeah, I thank you. And that's karmic, isn't it? That's life. Show me a reward. For not lying about
But he would have given you more if he was impressed.
That's true. Man, don't take this moment away from me, alright?
I'm taking it away from you. You don't deserve it. You didn't do a backflip.
Don't shit all over this moment just like you did into my rectum that time when I called you short.
Should have left well enough alone.
Yeah. Well, I mean, when I was pooping out your feces on the toilet, that's certainly what I was thinking. Thank you, Fallout Sheppy, for the $5. Paying just to tell you that Ben Shapiro made a school shooter movie, and it's just as awful as you think. Oh, naturally, we'll be watching that. Oh yes. There is no fucking doubt in my mind that we will, probably with some of the guys in the Patreon Discord, watch Ben Shapiro's school shooter movie.
I hope that's what it's called.
I hope that Ben Shapiro plays the school shooter, because he's about the same size as a school kid. He's just like... and the police are like, give me the gun. And he's like, this is my own gun, which I purchased with my own money, which I made with the fruits of my own labor. And the idea that you would take this gun from me, which is mine and not yours, that means you're a communist. That was brilliant.
I like the... Okay, so that's my favourite quote.
So my favourite bit was when he told Aquaman to move. Yeah. These people would not sell their homes and move. It's like, let's say all of the shoreline is underwater about 10 years from now. Wouldn't those people just sell their homes and move? It's just the dude with the axe breaking through was like, sell their houses to who, Ben? Fucking Aquaman.
Should we get back to the story?
God, I've got to read this shit, haven't I? Let's say, hypothetically, for the sake of this argument, I was a school shooter. Bye, man. Thank you very much for 399. Next BCP saga, Ben Shapiro legal battle. I feel like Ben Shapiro, for his many
Many flaws. Strikes me as the type of guy who can take a joke, though. He doesn't feel like the sort of person that would, I don't know, threaten me with violence and then try and get my channel taken down and then threaten me with legal action. You know, so I'm just saying, it doesn't seem like something that Ben Shapiro would do. I don't know if anyone else would, but it certainly doesn't feel like something Ben Shapiro would do. My wife is a school shooter. Oh, God. I think the people in the chat, like, no one wants to talk about this story now because everyone's like, wait, Ben Shapiro made a movie, for one thing, and it's about a school shooting.
I wonder if he got in touch with his cousin, Mara Wilson's old agent or something like that.
They'd probably just call you a radical liberal or some shit.
And yes, those of you that didn't know, Mara Wilson, who played Matilda in the Matilda movies, is Ben Shapiro's cousin. I say Matilda movies like there was multiple.
Well, they're making a new one.
Oh, are they?
Yeah.
They are.
Thinking to myself, well, this should be incredible. I walked towards him. Without hesitation, he lurched up and screamed. I can't remember what voice we did for him. Well, you know nothing about the Akmaj, man. I stopped and stood silent.
It's like an evil wizard.
Desk.
You know nothing about the Akmaj, he-man?
I asked.
You must answer me these questions 3. Question the first. What do you know about the Akmej?
This is Matt, just a throwback to a joke no one else will get but us. Was like, I am the Lord of the Sewer. That's nice, but fuck off, you smell.
Oh, I thought you can go for the other one where it's like, I walked into your room, you're like, you're making cup of tea, and goes, Jacob, before this, you must answer me this question 3. Would you like the sugar?
Oh, so I did that at work, and someone's like, she's like, Jacob, can you pass me the screwdriver? And I was like, okay, but first, and I was like, question the first. Do you want the screwdriver? Yes. Okay, here you go.
I remember when you first did that to Logan.
Yeah.
Logan was so confused.
Oh, I did it to somebody at Toby's house as well. Like, the second, could you pass me that wine? I did the whole bit, and they took it. They're like, what's the second question? I was like, who gives a shit? You have the wine now. You got what you wanted. Like, why are you curious about the second question? Would you like me to close the door, Master Sergeant? He immediately screamed back, no, you! He was clearly holding back from insulting me. It was like he was angry and terrified at the same time. The Master System then pointed at a massive book on his desk. This is this enormous tome.
Yeah, I like the way we've slowly like since that orc conversation, the rest of the soldiers are now all orcs. The drill instructor's a giant spider, and this one he's now Saruman.
This is the Akmaj. He lifted the book.
They're not flying planes; they're flying giant eagles.
He lifted the book up and shoved it to my chest from across his desk. I noticed that immediately the book was made of human skin. Now holding the fully open Akmaj in my arms, he commanded me to read the section I called out Sergeant Cerveza for violating. I looked for the passage he wanted me to read, but I could not find it. The Master Sergeant had furiously grabbed the book out of my hands awkwardly, tried to find the passage himself. Once he located it, he shoved the book back into my hands and pointed to it. I then read the passage aloud to him. It's the wrong aloud. By the way, I read the passage as in this is allowed as in was given permission to. So, again, learn to proofread, you nonce. As I expected, it stated what I said it did. Why was I even in that office being yelled at? Clearly Sergeant Shabajaba Babab Chimichanga was not authorised to use emasculating terms towards other enlisted members. I looked up at the Master Sergeant without any expression or emotion. The Sergeant still looked furious and screamed again, "Keep reading!" I looked down at the Akmaj one more time to see what he was talking about. Before I continue, I want to point something out to all of you reading this. The UCMJ quote we were issued covered only excerpts. They apparently didn't tell the full story. I literally called out Sergeant... I can't think of another funny one for Cassava because of how the UCMG experts... MJ, I keep saying MG. Akmaj excerpts were presented with the training guide they issued us. What the Master Sergeant was referring to was something I had never seen. It was a section that... Well, it was almost like you're an arrogant fuck who didn't know what you were talking about, isn't it?
Wait, Jacob, are you saying this guy's a fuckwit?
Yeah, I am.
I am shocked.
Colossal fuckwit.
Yes, I'm saying he's the adult equivalent of the snivelling child in class who thinks he's smarter than everyone else, but actually knows fuck all.
He's a bit like Randall from Recess.
Yeah. But like if Randall was in his 40s and
trying to
fucked
nonce all the
children.
kids.
Yeah.
And they weren't actually in the 40s and they were ghosts or something.
They were actually ghosts. That is a nonce as well, isn't it?
We're building okay, Jacob, we need to like put up a fucking cork board and get strings. We're putting together the fucking secret Illuminati of nonces here.
This enormous noncing ring. Goes way back to the early days of Creepypasta on YouTube.
That's where it all started. All the noncing before YouTube was fake. That was all fake news and fake history.
The real noncing began in 2012. So
That's the first time I met. First time someone touched a little boy.
Right. The second half of the paragraph specifically stated that emasculating people was unacceptable unless in a training environment. I didn't feel humbled. I didn't feel like I was even wrong. I felt like I was screwed over. I was set up to fail because they issued a document directly to trainees saying they could not be treated a certain way, yet the statement was all for show. This would never happen.
This is fucking boring.
Yeah, it's dull, but I'm saying, like, if you're going to do something that obviously is false, like it's clearly a work of fiction and would never take place, make it exciting.
I know, right?
Don't have it be like, oh, these guys only gave us an excerpt from something, and in actuality, the opposite was true. No, this just wouldn't happen.
Well, I think we've said it before that we reckon this is just his autobiography, but he's like spinning it from his point of view.
Oh, absolutely.
As opposed to an actual human's point of view, where it's like, you shouldn't make fun of me, and like, you know, they chewed him out, and then they yelled at him some more. Just, I'm going to write about this and make myself look good. And like, you're not doing that either.
Yeah, there's absolutely zero doubt in my mind.
Like, what he has succeeded is putting his audience to sleep.
Taking a painkillers break. Hang on.
Can I have some of that?
The painkillers or the Pepsi?
The Pepsi, please.
Okay. There you go.
Well, you're supporting the big soda that way.
It is a big soda.
Like, they don't.
Airman! Airman, you've come to stop me. Big soda.
They don't put the bubbles in, Jim. That's just what the bubbles are already there. That's just what big. Yeah, they're there so they don't have to put as much liquid in. You see, it's actually only half full, and the bubbles are the rest. That's what big soda doesn't want you to know.
You see, what happened was Big Soda was just once a small-time like convenience store shop, but owner, and then Airman like knocked him to a vat of like fizzy drink.
What is my life?
Fizzy juice, Matt.
No, he fucking doesn't. Big Soda does not
his real name was Franny.
Big Butch Franny, terror of the ladies. Father of 100 illegitimate children, and author of the best-selling pamphlet Why I Like to Do It With Girls. We clearly could be treated like we were nothing. It's not that I cared about how badly we were treated. You literally did, though. You cared tremendously. This is why this happened. It was that I was specifically told we could not be treated a certain way, only to see a spoilt brat of a sergeant. Oh, a spoilt brat for a sergeant? That doesn't make sense. Break those alleged rules. This was really about calling her out and shutting her up. I am truly surrounded by morons. Don't tell me the rules, and then yell at me for expecting them to be followed by the people who told me them. Our training guide...
What he just said was nonsense.
Yeah.
On every sense of the way.
Our training guide gave many people who read it the false impression that men are to be treated like men no matter what. I shouldn't be surprised. This wasn't the first injustice I experienced in the military, and it wasn't the last. The Master Sergeant continued screaming at me.
He's like, wait, this is the first injustice. Oh, it's not like you've been discriminated against for his race, his sexuality, you know, like, it's like, you know, where he was born, anything like that. No, he was called a pansy. Injustice.
You're talking nonsense. The Master Sergeant continued screaming at me, after I read that section, but I wasn't paying attention. I was brewing in the reminder as to why I hate most everyone. I hate the fucking most thing. I haven't softened up after all. All the hate was coming back. How much of this garbage is left?
Alright. Thank you very much for the £5, Ixtravolitarius. Spelling tests can now be used to rule out nonces. Study finds. Like the neighbour's kid, $2. I'm late. Have money. Thank you very much. Powpontropolis, thanks for the $6.99. Money to Moneyer.
Money harder.
And the neighbour's kid, thanks for the $2. Sergeant Castlevania. Peter, thanks for the $9.99. I figured out what Greg considers dark about Arthur. It's not his violent psychopathy, not his cringy nihilism, not the fact he's a creep. Greg thinks that Arthur eating meat is dark.
Well, you're absolutely right. That's pretty much the only difference between Arthur and the real Onision.
Mm-hmm.
In every other way, they're alike. It's just that this guy eats meat.
Oh, and you got it.
Riker! Who would call a man Franny? The Scots. That's who.
I know.
Gemma knows 2 men called Blair from Scotland. That's how fucked up that country is.
And I know a guy called Franny, and he's a proper hard man, all right.
Yeah,
well, you have to fucking be with a name like that, wouldn't you? You either like grow up to be the scariest motherfucker around, or you get destroyed.
And Peter, thanks for the $2.99. Let's make Greg eat my aunt's 7-Up pancakes. Yes, it was like Tyrant Kuwaga, thanks for the £5. God, this book's sick. Thank for some good laughs. God, this book's sick. Thanks for some good laughs. There we go.
I think we've got one page left for this chapter.
Excellent. I imagine shoving a chainsaw in the gut of a screaming Master Sergeant and cutting him down like a tree. The satisfaction it would give me watching him choke on his own blood as he gargled bloody screams at me. This was a con job. They set me up to this fail and he knew it. I wanted to see him breathe.
Set you up? Like, you didn't need to fucking bitch.
Yeah, you didn't need to act like a complete fucking crybaby. He's like, oh, they knew I was going to do that. It's like, no, they didn't. Nobody else in your unit behaved like this. No one else.
No one else complained about being called a pansy.
Also, if you fucking whine about being called a pansy, isn't that proving you're a pansy? Like, I'm no expert, but doesn't that mean you're a pansy?
Yeah, the proof is in the pudding.
The pathetic part of this entire incident is it doesn't end with the Master Sergeant trying to humiliate me in front of his secretary. Hours after I was excused from the Master Sergeant's office, Sergeant Captain America called me in front of the entire flight out in the field and educated everyone on what happens to Airman who tried to...
Airman fights Big Soda.
What the fuck are you guys on about? Also, hello. Sorry, I'm an hour late. Fuck's sake. Sorry.
Like, okay, so in the meantime, like basically, I don't know if you remember. What's his? Arthur got called a pansy. He whined about it, and in the meantime, we came up with a superhero and a supervillain.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, there's Airman and Big Soda. Airman's the superhero, and Big Soda his arch nemesis, who looks like Big Chungus but dressed as Pepsi Man.
Fucking fantastic.
That's just like logging out again.
Yeah, right. That's my time done, I think. That's all I need.
Also, Jacob proved with statistics that 100% of people who spell stories wrong are nonsense. No, in fact, it's 200%.
200%.
Yeah.
What happens to Airman? Find out next week. Same airtime, same air channel.
What happens to Airman, who tried to correct his or her superior enlisted members? What a joke. Them mocking someone for standing up for the Ukmaj was specifically mind-numbing due to the fact that the very same people who regularly encouraged us to report corruption within the military were now discouraging us from reporting corruption? It wasn't just... No, it's...
So, Corruption is I killed a man, or I'm smuggling drugs, or I'm selling information to the Russians. Not someone called me a pansy and it hurt my feelings. I mean, it is ridiculous to say, calling the cops when a child refused to eat their dinner. It only happened in a ridiculous story written by a fucking child molester.
God, if only, right?
Taking legal action against a YouTube channel for making fun of you. And
having baby teeth. And not being a baby.
Speaking of baby teeth, Scarlett's losing her first one. This bottom one in the middle is really, really wobbly.
Aww.
Bless her.
She'll grow up to have she'll grow up to be a healthy set of teeth and have, thick skin.
That's true. That is very true. What page are we on?
Yeah, we're near page
58.
68.
Yeah, we're near page. Yeah, we're
68.
near.
Whoa!
Yeah, we're near.
You have read a lot.
No, we haven't. We weren't on page 10.
We weren't as far back as you thought you were.
Yeah, we weren't on chapter 10. We were on chapter.
I see.
So we've actually not read very much at all.
It was a PR issue for the entire Air Force. None of this mattered in this fleeting moment to anyone but me, it seemed.
Yes.
These drones, posing as human beings, could only see 10 feet in front of them. That's how you drive off a cliff, boys and girls. Stay stupid.
Yeah, stay stupid, boys and girls, or you won't find out that I'm actually a nonce.
Yeah, you need to be a big brain banana dressing boy like me.
Oh, by the way, I found a picture earlier. It was someone posted it up in 2011, and it's this and it's this guy in the middle at a convention with Shane Dawson on one side and Onision in the banana suit on the other.
Oh.
Yeah, and it's really.
Are you
cursed.
sure? Are you sure that was a convention, Gemma? Are you sure this wasn't Jeffrey Epstein's private sex island?
No, I'm pretty sure that's from NonceCon. Or was it also called a rainforest or whatever?
Oh, rainforest! God, the internet historian video on that. Oh, goodness.
Sergeant Castanet just had to parade around about her victory over me, a mere infant of the military. This newborn military baby who quoted a section of the Ukmaj she didn't even know existed before she was confronted about it. Do punchlines get better than that? Yes, some of them are actually punchlines. She was a walking, talking comedy show. Problem is, you had to have a working brain to understand why she was so tragically hilarious. Again, I just think about what Matt just said about big brain banana suits. Okay, Gemma, do you want to read some super chats?
Yes. Shadow White, thanks for $2. Big Soda has let's say bucks, it's pounds. Big Soda has a very bubbly personality.
Oh, that's also something you missed.
Fuck you.
We basically came up with a new version of There Will Be Blood.
Oh, okay.
Toby, we came up with a new version of There Will Be Blood, but Daniel Day-Lewis is fighting Cool Spot over the lemonade. Was it not mind? What do you call it? Reserves.
Mine lemonade reserves.
PowerPoint Tropolis, thanks for the $13.99. Money 3, moneyest. Squid, thanks for the $4.99.
It's like Money 3, the search for stocks.
Ever noticed Toby and Big Soda are never in the same room?
Oh. That's my secret cap.
And Peter.
Well, he is a secret lemonade drinker.
I'm a secret lemonade drinker. God, don't start that. Don't awaken that within me again, Matt. For fuck's Christ's sake. Just don't.
You're the one that sang it.
Okay, this film is this. Yeah, this film is coming together. So, mild-mannered Toby was just working in the lemonade factory when he fell in, and then it's like Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde, or Jacob's thing where he sucks dick. Remember that?
Jacob's thing where he sucks dick. Do you remember that? As Richard, you haven't seen the extended cut of The Exorcist where Reagan comes crawling down the stairs. Richard was like, we're sitting here, this ominous sort of dramatic music playing on the stairs, and just Toby just bursts out of the door, swings open, so poof, You know, when like Homer's like, when Homer bursts into Bart's room, he's like, I don't wish to alarm you.
What is he like? Ask?
So, it's just Toby coming down the stairs to consume lemonade by the gallon.
I
Peter,
put the fridge lined with lemonade. Just every bill, as full as a fridge can be of lemonade. Imagine that fridge.
Just like siphoning it out of it. I don't know.
Open every bottle.
Like you know, like stealing gasoline from a truck, which is one of those things that delivers lemonade. That's a thing. Toby just,
I was thinking more like
sucking it out
it's like a vampire movie, but instead of instead of biting some guy and sucking the blood out, he's just like robbing convenience store, dressed as a vampire.
I was about to say, yeah, where's the vampire part coming? Oh, he's dressed like one.
So it's like Vampire's Kiss.
Starring Nicolas Cage. I'm a vampire, but I drink lemonade.
Okay, Peter, thanks for the $4.99. What prehistoric or mythical creature would you like to see eat Greg? Personally, I think I'd like to see a saber-toothed cat or Spinosaurus attack him. I'd like him to be consumed by Chimera.
Just for me, I'm gonna go with the prehistoric stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Just a really big crab. Just like a crab that now is too big to exist, but once.
You mean the giant enemy crabs you see in ancient battles that actually take place, Jacob? In ancient Japan.
I was bringing that shit back. Oh, we did.
No.
We're doing a video in like 2013 together, playing fucking Mystical Ninja. Just be like, oh, Jacob, here's this giant enemy crab.
And that was old then. Oh my god.
Yeah, it was. How long ago was it?
I think it's like
PS5.
2000.
That was PS3.
It's like some disastrous 2008 E3, isn't it? It's like.
And we see these giant enemy crabs.
For me, I'd say Sticky Mullet, because we just love the Sticky Mullet.
We love the Sticky Mullet.
We're gonna get to that. I was going back. Oh shit, we got these commentaries. Like, oh, we still got one to do for the Jurassic
I
Park.
think we was like, oh, we made commentaries on the entire Jurassic Park franchise. Wait, no, we didn't. We never did number 5. We love the Sticky Mullet. Fucking Bryce Dallas Howard, get in the sea.
Yeah, can we like just pretend that Bryce Dallas Howard doesn't exist and that Ron Howard had no children?
Yeah.
Jacob, so I was listening to like the commentary, and we talked about it. It's like, yeah, so we're gonna wait till we can get this like either free or very cheap. Because like you were just like, we'll just wait for it to come out on Netflix. And I was thinking to myself, that ain't happening now.
Well, I didn't know about all the nonsense. It's just. To be fair, I'm stealing. So I didn't have Netflix for months and months. I'm now stealing somebody else's. I was like, you don't mind financing child porn? Well, I'll just siphon off yours then.
Well, fair play. I think I'll do that the same
Should
as
we
well.
read this like well?
Bowman12, thank you very much. Sea Scorpion murders Onion Boy. Sea Scorpion. Just anything horrible, really. Just
a giant Candiru.
Just
It's
toss,
just like it's.
toss him into that
it's
pit from King Kong. There you go.
What's the first land creature, the one that evolved from sea to land? That thing I want to see kill Onision. Way back when.
Just like crawl into his brain or something. Like,
Yeah, evolves from a sea creature right into his brain and just into it. Yeah.
starts wanting to wear a banana
what's
suit.
that? What's that like wasp that made
Oh.
Charles Darwin believe that God is evil? Just have
Tarantula
that
wasp?
lay ants in his brain.
Was it the tarantula wasp?
Just like
We just love the figgy pudding.
yeah, we just love the sticky mollusk. Oh, she's French.
Yeah.
Oh, my loss.
Get it? 'Cause
Okay,
they eat
so-
snails over there. I'm so fucking funny.
You are. Should we finish this
Great
page?
Just such a funny fucking guy.
Jacob, I feel like sometimes you are wasted on us.
No, the problem is I'm not wasted. I'm horribly sober.
Yeah, we are.
Okay, so
Always a
Jacob, do you want to finish the page?
I mean, if one of you could finish the page, that would be preferable.
Right. What was the last sentence?
I think we're just
We're
at the start
we're
of
now it's on page 69. Nice.
Okay.
No, Jed.
Right. A male training sergeant called out, Herman Linfeld, Step out of formation and report to the front. I complied. Obviously, in the military, you rarely have a choice when it comes to direct commands. Once I stood in front of my flight, as he commanded, the male training sergeant spoke aloud to everyone around. He said, "This is an example of an airman who has failed you all. This is an example of an airman who speaks without knowing the slightest bit about what he's talking about. You bastard. God, I would love to shove my fist down your throat and watch you suffocate like a helpless beached fish in front of your precious puppies." What?
I'm sure you and your vegetarian body.
That's way fucking worse.
In front of your precious puppy.
These little like Andrex looking dogs, just like, yeah, you love your master,
Oh, it's
watch him
puppets.
die.
Oh, it's
You are not
puppets.
strong
Oh,
enough
okay.
to stop me.
So that's like so we've come to the
Look at
conclusion that he is,
look at
like,
your
the
father,
sociopath.
Ron Howard, being killed like this. You're next. You love the Stiggy Moloch now.
You're gonna be in Bryce Dallas Howard for the next week, aren't you?
Just waiting for
You're gonna be
Bryce
like,
Dallas
"Well, I
Howard
can bring
to
it up."
I'm waiting for Bryce Dallas Howard to challenge me to a boxing match for saying she can't act. How dare you pick
Do
on
you
someone
think-
extremely famous when you have 30,000 subscribers?
It's true. As I stood there being ridiculed in front of my peers, more
Oh,
rules
who the
of the
fuck
military.
cares? You're in the
Kept
military.
bouncing around
Grow a
my mind.
fucking spine.
Rules specifically for... Sorry, what were you going to say, Gemma?
I was like, go fucking spite, you pansy.
Then he cries again. It's a vicious cycle of him crying and crapping himself.
Literally. Rules specifically frowning on singling enlisted members out or using humiliation tactics. But this time I doubted myself. The rules I read prior were obviously not the full story. I was better off remaining silent and letting them bask in their false victory. Even if I was right and proceeded to call them out on the rules they were now breaking, who cared about the truth anymore? These airmen were sick of me.
Oh, now it's airmen.
Yeah, they've stopped doing. I thought it was going to be these airmen were sick of me.
The rest of the day, when we weren't forced into formation, I spent in isolation. This wasn't by order of the sergeants, but by the choice of my peers. I was a cancer to them, and
Yeah.
the only one who would even look at me without a scorn was Corey.
Corey Hayes.
As I sat alone, she looked my way a couple of times. One of the times I looked directly after her, she smiled and waved. That single act of kindness was enough to get me through the rest of the day.
Simp.
You a simp. You a simp. All right, that's the end of that's the end of that chapter. As cool Homer Simpson with the scarf would say. You guys remember that episode, Police Cops?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, I do remember that
Well,
episode.
he changes his name. That's
Yeah.
like the main thrust of the actual episode.
Oh, what's
Max
Max
Power.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's the same
he's the
episode,
man.
Yeah.
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 So, give me my dignity back. I remember that being like a whole episode plot.
No, that's just it's that part of The Simpsons where here's this one bit at the beginning and then the rest of the episode happens.
Yeah, this
Sort
is
of thing.
prologue. Yeah. PowerPoint Tropolis, thank you very much. Money for the check bounces back. That's beautiful. Peter, okay, how about if Coyote Peterson uses Greg for his bite and sting videos? Greg getting stung by an executioner wasp would put a smile on my face. Fuck me. I mean, you're not wrong. Mike, thank you for the $5. The real question is, does the Stiggy Moloch love me? Peter again. Okay, why don't you just design a torture and execution for the creepy onion creature? Ideally, his death should serve as a warning to others like him. I think he should suffocate inside a giant banana skin. I think it's the only way.
So what you need to do is anyone who's really good at computer, can someone who's good at computer, who's played The Forest, make a mod where all the enemies are just Onision, and then when you kill them and you make your little totems out of the enemies, that sends a message.
Actually, just think, It's like a big wicker man, but it's just a big. It's the end of the
It's
wicker
an
man,
onion
but
or banana.
yeah, there's extra branches to put the wicker man in a banana suit, and then you set him on fucking fire for being a nonce.
Yeah, I mean, it's not a virgin sacrifice, but it's one that's like approved of by everyone.
Yeah, it's one thing. It's like, well, these creepy pagans just burned a man alive. It's like, that's right, and there's not a jury in the country that will convict them.
In fact, they're actually getting complaints that they didn't, show it live on TV.
You mentioned Homer. Thank you, Phantom Glide. You mentioned Homer to the max, and now I'm picturing Simp Butterfly trying to talk back to Sergeant Castlevania and proudly walking off into a cactus.
Sergeant Castlevania!
Give me my dignity back.
Love it. Jacob, I went back and played Super Castlevania the other day.
Yeah.
And I died on the first level. What's going on? Why am I so shit at the minute?
I mean, you're not very good at games, Toby.
Thank you, Gemma.
Yeah.
Thank you for that, Gemma.
I mean, that's the joke.
I know.
Joke
That's
or
the joke.
Observation
Truth?
of facts.
Yeah. Joke or truth? You decide. It's truth.
It's not a joke.
It's just play truth in it.
There is
Fuck
no
it.
punchline. It's not a joke.
You just suck.
So, Jacob, are we going to go for chapter 13, or do you want to call it a night?
Oh
or what
no,
are you gonna
absolutely not. We'll call it a night. It's bloody 11. I've got work in the morning. But,
Well, we managed to get through a few pages, like, was it 5 pages? But on the bright side, we came up with a new idea for a movie, a superhero and a supervillain, and insulted 2 people who really deserve it a bunch.
Yeah, we get through a lot in a short space of time. That's not the story.
Yeah. Anything but the story.
Jacob and Gemma, you should invite more guests to a stream sometime. It's like, what would be the point? I don't think they'd show up. It's one of those things where people always say funny things like that to us. It's like, hey, somebody once posted in the comments, like, have you guys ever thought of collaborating with Cad Icarus? I'm like, yeah, you know what? Why don't we just get fucking Tom Cruise on the show while we're at it?
Yeah.
Like you're basically asking the impossible. There's like huge fucking YouTubers.
Yeah. I
mean, we keep getting Nicolas Cage on, but he says nothing, and he's like, all those buckets of SpaghettiOs wasted.
Yeah,
He's more of a physical comedy man, isn't he? He doesn't really.
Yeah, we spent so much. We gave away so much spaghetti in the hopes of getting Nicolas Cage, but yeah.
The neighbour's kid, thanks for the $2. I'm glad Toby laughed at my awful joke.
Well, guys, thanks everybody for coming out. I say coming out, you all stayed home and listened, but yeah, that doesn't sound thanks for making the effort to turn on your PCs, I guess.
Yeah.
Next time, everyone's just come round to Jacob's house. He's fine with it. He's got plenty of chairs. You can all just sit round.
We're just spawned loads of chairs now ever since we've been. 92
of you just want to roll up to my house next time. It's a little easier, I think, to do it in person. This is a bit impersonal over the internet. So
Jacob's been using all that like fat internet stacks that he gets to buy a big house and lots of chairs, so much room. It feels like he's living in a big haunted house without people. So he needs lots of people to come round to his massive house.
So that's all we bought. We've only bought chairs, man.
Yeah.
That's all that we have.
They'd have a problem. Only chairs.
Is that like a furniture version of OnlyFans?
Only chairs.
It's like the IKEA version.
Nova, thanks for the $1, and if you meant to put something there.
I don't think you can write a message.
No, but with $1, all I can say is I like the big B.